Welcome everybody to this year-end webinar, memoQ. The slide in front of you says memoQ Wrapped, a look back at 2024. We have another title for that, The Best of memoQ, A Year of Growth. This is what we want to talk to you about in the next 40 to 45 minutes, and then we will take questions. And let's start with some housekeeping. So we will record the webinar. So if anyone in the audience needs to leave while the webinar is going on, do not worry. The recording will be made available on your site. A few of us will present for roughly 40 minutes, and then we will take questions. Sometimes we take questions between sessions. This 40 minutes are actually broken down into shorter sessions, depending on the nature of the question. And it's very important that you ask the questions in the Q&A panel of Zoom. So, and we are monitoring this Q&A panel constantly, and we'll answer the questions accordingly. This is good for another thing as well. If there are questions that we could not answer, for instance, we don't have more time to answer the questions, then we can return to them later by following up in whatever form. But this is it about housekeeping, and let's introduce ourselves. I would introduce myself very quickly. I'm Balázs Kis, I'm Chief Evangelist, one of the founders of memoQ. But we have much more important people speaking today. We have Marianna Nagy, Senior Product Manager, someone who works on shaping memoQ as a product. And so Marianna's journey into the language industry started out by earning a degree in German and Latin. And since then, she became a seasoned translation and localization specialist. And she has over 15 years of experience in project and team management. Having worked for the 3 top Hungarian translation companies, she has been a power user of memoQ for years before joining the team, and she was immediately suitable to be one of the most seasoned product managers. We have Gábor Besenyei with us, senior product manager as well. He is the founding partner, CEO of a translation company called Morphologic Localization, but he started off his career as translator for SAP software and worked in various positions, localization-related positions at SAP Hungary. He's also the founder, and this is important for today, of Globalese. And you all know that Globalese and memoQ acquired Globalese earlier this year, and we are through a merger that we consider to be successful. And as a result, Gábor has become the chief senior product manager for the Globalese product line. And what he will talk about memoQ AGT and also Globalese today. We have Zsolt Varga with us, and he has a double major, English and history. He earned his degrees in Hungary, but then spent 6 years in Texas, where he earned his PhD in history. But after he returned to Hungary, he worked as an English teacher and a freelance translator, then as a translation team leader and linguistic expert for Hungarian LSPs, and a college instructor for Qterm. And he joined memoQ in 2016, and is currently one of the product managers of our flagship product. And last but not least, we have Peter Reynolds with us. He's CEO at memoQ. He's one of our board members and has previously worked for international companies like IDML, Birdie's GlobalNet, Bound Global Solutions, and Lionbridge. And Peter has been actively involved in the development and promotion of standards for over a decade. He holds a BSc and an MBA degree from Open University and is a localization translation industry veteran. I am happy to show you the agenda for today, and you can see that we will talk about memoQ AGT. We will talk about Globalese by memoQ. We will talk about in-country view and configurations and its configurations on memoQ Web, the latest improvements for Qterm, the new online web-based memoQ editor, other improvements to memoQ Web, We will also talk about memoQ's perspective on AI, and we will also talk about what's in store for memoQ and for memoQ customers in 2025. And with that, I am handing over to Gábor Besenyei, who will give us a perspective of where memoQ AGT is at the moment. Gábor, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Balázs. Okay, great. So first of all, welcome everybody. I'm happy to be here and share with you an overview about this year, what we achieved with AGT, and of course talking about a little bit about AGT itself. And we will also have a quick outlook what is on the roadmap for the next year. So AGT is, as you probably know, is for adaptive generative translation, and it's basically our product, which is the first implementation of including large language model in the translation automation workflow. And AGT is utilizing all the language resources you have in a project. And with the help of the large language models in the combination, you can achieve great results in the quality. So, so let's take a look about the highlights. What is the characteristic of AGT? So speaking about quality, as I mentioned already, AGT is using all the. So this is one of the differentiators compared to newer MNT technologies, but also to other LLM-based solution. That it's utilizing not only the training data, for example, translation memory, but is utilizing all of the language resources you have assigned in your project, for example, including the Livedoc content. And of course, terminologies. And this is one of the most important differentiators compared to other solutions. One other differentiator is that it's adapting real time. So any content you have, any context data you have in your language resource in your project will be used instantly, and it will adapt your translation instantly. So the output of the LLM model instantly. So while in the NMT technology, you need to train your model. You have to collect your data separately. So it's an additional asynchronous step. In AGT, this is all happening almost instantly. And last but not least is that about training data is instantly fed by the TMS. So it's happening if you are entering something in your project, if a new translation is inserted or a new string has been post-edited, this result will flow instantly into the translation memory and will take effect immediately, which means that it's basically happening in real time. So that not only the adaptation is real time, but the incremental, so the flow of the new training data is happening in real time. So what happened this year? What were the highlights for AGT this year? One very important news was that AGT can be now configured as an online resource. Which means that you don't. So it's not only possible to use it in your local desktop project, but you can configure it as an online resource for your server projects, which means that the project management is much more easy and the security has been improved. You don't have to share the project keys with other users because it's grabbed directly from the online resource. The other important is that you can do the same now also with the translations. You don't need to check out the project and run it as a local desktop project, but you can do it now directly from an online server project via so you can utilize it directly run the pre-translation directly from an online project. And I have here what is also very important, and this is one of the recent news we have, is I can see it's brand new. It's the option that you can now. The trial process is now automated, so it doesn't require any. So the waiting list has been removed. You don't have to wait until your trial has been approved. It's now live, and it means that you can go to the web page. You can register or opt in for a trial, and you can get. And this is also one good news that you have now 1 million characters in your trial for 30 days, which you can use up. And the other is that the subscription is also now enabled automatically. So the whole process is now all completely automated, and you can have it. You can consume AGT as a monthly subscription, which is including 6 million characters. And of course, if you like it, you can top it up at any time you like. And what we heard so far, so we have from some of our users, we already got some really good feedbacks. So there's a lot of potential, saving potential by utilizing the capabilities of AGT. And we are very happy to hear these feedbacks from our users. And I would like to encourage everybody visiting this webinar to make use of this trial option. It's for free, and you can try it effortless in memoQ directly. And now let's switch to the other topic, which was one of the highlights again in the life of memoQ this year, was the acquisition of Globalese. And of course, I'm very much personally involved in that emotionally and from professional perspective as well. And I'm very happy now to be the part of the team. Just a quick look back to our history. So Globalese is basically, we define ourselves as a platform which enables users to train custom engines. So back in 2018, we were one of the early adopters of neural machine translation technology for custom neural models. And in 2023, we were one of the early adopters of large language models for machine translation. And since 2024, we are this year, September, so this is really a very new story, is that we are now part of the memoQ. And we are really happy about it because we see a lot of potential synergies in that. So let's talk about the highlights. I don't want to spend too much of the time because we have limited time available. But some of the highlights of Globalese, this one is that you can choose. You have two options how you run Globalese. You can use it as a cloud-based subscription, or you can consume it as an on-premise deployment, an on-premise installation. We are supporting a high number of language combinations, over 60 language combination in different directions. It's not only related to English or German as the source, or not the typical big languages. We are supporting some of the rare language combinations. We are offering, and this is one of the differences compared to AGTs, that Globalese can be used also outside of the memoQ ecosystem. So we have plugins and integration for other translation management systems as well. And we have an API integration for any kind of automation or different integration scenarios. Tag handling is also something which we are very proud about. As you can see here on the screen, Globalese is supporting not only that it's technically kept, that tags are not only kept technically, but they are typically also placed well into the translation. This is a real advantage compared to other similar solutions. And the other highlight is the terminology adaptation. So you can basically add terminology, add glossaries as a resource to your model, and this terminology resource will be instantly taking effect. Even if you have different data in your training data, different terminology in your training data, this will be prioritized, so you can influence the outputs by terminology list. And last but not least, we have the custom prompts, which are also very interesting. You can basically, it's a kind of free text field, so you can add any kind of input here. And here are some examples. So one is the switch between formal or informal speech. You can influence the output. You can, for example, ask for British English or American English spelling, but the opportunities are basically endless. For example, you can also ask for change anonymization of bank account numbers. Or basically, the limit is only the sky. Of course, there are some limitations here due to the nature of the large language models. Not all of the prompts are working always, but there are some of them which are working extremely well, and these are basically freely customizable. And let's take an outlook to the next year. So, of course, one of the main goals is to have a much deeper and even better integration with memoQ. Not only from the end user perspective, but also in the deep backgrounds, for example, utilizing metadata coming from the TMS. So here we have a lot of ideas, a lot of options. So this is one of main goals. And what we have on the roadmap is another importance is new topic is the context-aware translation, which means moving away from the segment-based translations and using higher units like paragraphs for the large language models. So that was in short, and thank you. Of course, I will handing it over to Balázs back. If you are interested in any details, here are my contact data, and we are happy if you are contacting us, and we are happy to answer your questions. Thank you.
Next up is Zsolt Varga talking about in-country review. So Zsolt, take it away, please.
All right. So today I want to talk about three topics. The first one being in-country review. For those of you who are new to this topic, let's give a very quick recap. Why we believe we needed a new app, a new web app called in-country review. These in-country reviewers or subject matter experts are different than your everyday linguists. They typically don't work with memoQ at all. As a matter of fact, they are not familiar with any kind of cat tool or translation software. They use external tools for the most part when they need to do some review, such as Adobe Acrobat comments or post-it notes or whatever. And they generally prefer web apps over desktop applications. The other participant in this workflow, in the in-country review workflow, is your project manager. And what they expect from the in-country review workflow is to minimize their own involvement in the review step. So they want automation as opposed to the previous ways of working with in-country reviewers. They also want to avoid potential technical and security issues that are related to external review options, because if anything goes outside memoQ, you you cannot really guarantee your the safety and security of your data. They also want to enforce terminology rules and QA settings. And what they also really wanted to be able to customize this review steps with the in-country reviewer, so much so that they want some of them to be able to only comment documents, while others they would permit them to edit documents. So let's see what we can offer. So the question is, why would you choose ICR for your in-country reviewers? Well, we believe that we are responding to the customer needs with the right product, and we are providing a cutting-edge web application, as you will see. It offers great user experience, no linguistic training whatsoever is needed, and it's really highly customizable through the ICR configurations by the project manager. And it answers all your concerns as far as security and seamless integration with the memoQ ecosystem. So basically, you no longer need any external step. Everything is inside the memoQ project. So we have two basically areas to talk about. One is the ICR editor itself. This is what the in-country reviewer or the subject matter expert would see. As early as in January 2024, we released memoQ 10.5, which basically included the key features of the ICR editor. We by 10.5 we implemented what we call focus on row, a unique display of row relevant data in terms of terms, comments, and issues. This will come handy when we talk about the other applications. So keep this in mind. We also provided a basic level of a spell check service with HomeSpell, and we also implemented the HTML preview in memoQ 10.5. The next big step came in memoQ 11.0, where we improved the My Review tasks page. We added some additional some filters that in-country reviewers can look for specific jobs that they need to complete. And we also offered better tech handling options in the editor, adding some new commands like adding the next tag sequence. And obviously, as you can see, the ICR editor natively supports dark mode. So as all our new web applications do. The other part of the ICR experience is the project manager's experience. And this is where a lot of stuff happened in June of this year with memoQ 11.0. To understand why we had to implement so many changes, well, we had quite a unique configuration for project managers in the in-country review workflow, but it was assignment specific. And this could not really handle new project management needs, such as assigning a document to multiple ICR users or using advanced assignment workflows such as first accept group sourcing or even auto assign. bulk assignment was not possible back in those days, and project templates were not supported. And there was also the issue of BMS integration, and as part of that, the WS API needed some additions as well. So the solution was to offer a reusable configurations via memoQ web. It's called ICR configurations, and it resides under resources. So if you open ICR configurations, you will see your ICR configurations. Surprising. And here you can either create new ones or you can edit existing ones. And as you can see, we see some of them with numbers, and that means that as we switched from the 10 dot versions to 11.0, we were able to migrate seamlessly the old in-country review configurations. So no projects were lost, no assignments were lost. Everything was just went smoothly, but you had new options. So this is what the new project management option is: the in-country review configurations. Instead of project-specific details, now you can use meta settings for project resources for reusability. Instead of providing specific resource names, you actually select from a variety of generic options that can be reused in specific projects. And as a result, now we can support more advanced assignment options, such as group sourcing, as you can see here, or even first accept, where you don't actually know who is going to do the review. Sometimes it's unclear. Sometimes multiple people, multiple reviewers will complete the assignment. This whole new experience is available not only in memoQ Web, which is natively supported, and this is a web-first development, but we also cater to the needs of those who still prefer to use the desktop client, although it's quite limited. So compared to the previous screen, you can only select the in-country view configurations. But the user journey is complete, so you can start and finish in the desktop. But we encourage everyone to use memoQ Web because you have a much richer experience there. In completion of these ICR developments, we added the ICR configurations to project templates, so you can select your project templates configurations and complete the ICR projects fully automatically. So that was ICR in a nutshell. Very briefly, I want to talk about Qterm, some improvements in 2024. It's clear that Qterm needs a revamp. We know it, and it's planned. It's on the horizon, but we currently have ICR and memoQ editor in the focus. Still, we monitor and prioritize our customers' current pain points and ideas on the memoQ idea portal. And one of the top issues was wildcard term search. And as you can see on the screen, now you're allowed to use the asterisk sign to search for terms that include certain words plus some others in between. Or for that matter, you can even use multiple asterisks to limit or further narrow down your search. And you can not only do it from the browse terms page, but also from the home page. So this will come really handy if you have a large bodies of data and multiple term bases to search in. You can very quickly drill down to the actual term that you're looking for, but you don't actually know it fully. You just have certain words that you remember. So this is something that we are going to. We actually have released it in 11.2, the latest version. I believe it's 11.2.9, and it's also going to appear in 11.3 and all the future versions, obviously. Let me just give you a quick list of upcoming features. I have no screenshots for those because they are currently either under testing or even in the development phase. So we are going to provide the feature called display and search by entry ID that will allow you to quickly get to a specific entry whose number you have become familiar with because you use it quite frequently. You will be also able to clone entries which comes really handy if you just want to change the terms, but keep all the other metadata of other entries. One powerful feature that we're going to add to memoQ is to combine and or operators in filters. So this will help you further refine your Qterm filters when using them when using Qterm term bases in memoQ projects. And we're also going to implement a number of UX improvements. Most of them will appear in memoQ 11.4, some 11.5. So keep your eyes peeled and follow us on social media to keep track of these developments. So from Qterm now, I'd like to move on to the last bit of my presentation. This is a sneak peek of memoQ Editor, the successor of our WebTrans, our online editor. And let me just give you a sneak peek of what we call the minimum viable product or MVP version of the memoQ editor. It's scheduled to be released in memoQ 11.4. And our goal with this MVP, which means that it's not going to be fully functional, it will not have all the features that the current WebTrans has. It will have some, plus some extra that WebTrans doesn't have. So the purpose of this MVP is to cover the happy path. As you can see, this is a user story map, and all these little red tags or labels, they actually indicate those user stories or those features that we had to implement so that our users can complete their workflow in the memoQ editor as a linguist. As you can see further down, we have no labels here. So these are additional features that we are going to implement in future versions, but we believe that it's best to release in memoQ 11.4 an early version of memoQ editor so that we can get feedback as early as possible. And as part of that, we already have beta testing in process. And if you're interested, contact me and we can even involve you very shortly. Plus, as soon as the MVP is out, we are going to allow an in-app feedback by clicking the switchback option. If for some reason you cannot complete something in the new editor, we'll ask you why you're switching back to WebTrans. And the information that you enter here will reach us, and this will help us prioritize future development. The MVP is going, and as you can see, you can switch back to the old WebTrans editor, but if you get tired of it, you can go back to the new memoQ editor at any time. As far as the functionality in the MVP, one handy feature is that you will be able to use the application on multiple screens or even on a single screen, but using multiple windows. Here you can see the editor itself with the translation results in the main screen. And there's a separate window with the preview and another window with your comments. And as you go from one row to the other, everything will be refreshed. The information pertaining to the specific row will be displayed in every single window that is either popped out or is inside the main window. Obviously, we are going to provide a really nice dark mode for memoQ editor. And in addition to that, we're also going to support accessibility natively. We have tested it with all the screen readers, all the major screen readers, and they just work fine with this new technology, new web technology. As I said, the MVP version, the early version of memoQ editor is going to provide some key editor functionality. In addition, you'll see that we'll have a menu and the usual toolbar. And on the right side, you'll see the good old translation results, but even more than that, because on this focus on row, which might be familiar for you if you paid attention to the earlier presentation on the ICR, this combines all the relevant information for the specific row, so translation results, comments, and issues. In addition, you have options to display either here or in separate windows all these other aspects. In the MVP, we're going to offer the first four. So translation results, focus on review, issues, and comments. So that concludes my presentation on the memoQ editor. I hope you will give it a try in memoQ 11.4. And let me hand the mic back to Balázs.
Thank you, George. And next up is Marianna talking about other memoQ web improvements. And without further ado, I will hand over the word to Marianna. Please take it away.
Hi all. Let me first start with the packages workflow. That has been there for a while now, and since last year, SDL packages can also be imported into existing memoQ projects. Now, from this year on, also memoQ handoff packages are available for being used in existing projects. So why is that so exciting? As you already know, template-based workflows can be used with automated actions, for example, analysis, pre-translate, file export, and etc., and also preset resources. And from now on, all this automation and standardization that you have within your template-based project can be also used with packages, not only with SDL packages, but also with memoQ handoff packages. And that means, of course, less manual work and less maybe errors as well. Now that templates are working with packages, also BMS systems can work and handle packages well. This is going to be out in 11.4 very soon, handling memoQ handoff packages by BMS systems integrated with memoQ. And we currently also work on SDL packages with API connections. So this is going to be the next thing here. There are no more new TMs also after each package. So package resources can also be reused easily. And removing packages from project is also available since 11.1. Let me jump to another topic, which is project management on the web. And why is that so important for us and not just for us? Of course, because it's important for you. Project management on the web is not tied anymore to a Windows environment. So it's also available for Mac users now. This has been, of course, with us for a while, but we are constantly improving, having, all the new features also. But apart from that, we want to provide our memoQ project managers the very same flexibility in our browser-based solutions as they used to have at other areas of work and also, of course, leisure. About company policies, they may also hinder using client applications, even if they are allowed to download or used, it's troublesome. So it requires extra effort from IT departments and sometimes also from users. It may require not only time, but technical effort to install and maintain those desktop applications. And this is in a corporate environment, an extra effort that doesn't pay off. But with a browser-based platform, version management and compatibility issues between the desktop application and server may disappear. Last but not least, the third aspect is in terms of memoQ Web and the project management features is modernizing the project management UI. This is about providing a user-friendly interface and a user experience that is suitable for actual needs. This includes, of course, aspects of usability and accessibility as well, which is very important for us. In the process of implementing all those features on memoQ Web that are already there in the desktop application, we also rethink and redesign all those features on the web. So what did we achieve this year in terms of project management features? Well, managing your licenses is available. This might be the same old call licensing function you already know, but accessing it through the web interface will have some benefits. For example, you don't need a license to access this page. Any project manager or administrator can access this page, even if there are no licenses in the pool anymore. What is coming soon in this regard? At the end of the year, we've been working on audit log with extended functionality. The audit log has been there at the desktop in your server administrator for a while. But what we work on right now is not only the translation management audit log, but also other resources and also project contents to be available, configurable, available on memoQ web. This is going to be on web only, so you will be able to access the configurations only on memoQ web. Configuring a scheduled email gives information to server administrators and project managers on server resources and projects, such as create, export, import, delete, modify permissions, or rename all those resources and projects. This way you can keep track of what's happening on your server. Filtering documents seems to be just a small step. However, it's very important in terms of the next features. And this is, for example, exporting options. Exporting options has already been also there, but now we would like to provide friendlier user experience with an extended functionality. Confirm and update has been there partially as part of wrap up, but project managers want to have more control over confirming segments and updating their translation memories. So now you will be able to filter your files and confirm and update the files, segments as you wish on memoQ web. And last but not least, we are working on redesigning reporting options. We won't change anything in the content of reports. It is all about redesigning the reports page. So all reports will be available through memoQ web. You will be able to create all the reports and also filter, view, and export all those reports very soon. So this we're going to be in the focus of, beginning of next year. Hopefully, in the middle of next year, we will be able to release all this. Thank you for your attention. And at this point, I think I hand over the mic to Balázs.
Thank you, Mariana. Before we put the finishing touches on today's webinar, there are two questions that we should probably answer very quickly. The first one seems to be for Zsolt, because it's a question about the ICR-tool, in-country review tool. Question is, does the preview pane only show Word files, or does it work with IDML, HTML, and more? So I'm pretty sure that it's way more than Word files, but I'll let Zsolt answer this.
Yeah, sure. So the preview in ICR as well as in the upcoming memoQ editor can display all the various file formats that the current desktop client as well as WebTrans can display. But we also have plans to expand the web preview functionality to incorporate and display InDesign files specifically. That's a hard nut to crack. So we'll look into that. But all in all, whatever you can see in the desktop client or in WebTrans, you will be able to see in ICR and memoQ editor.
Thank you very much, Zsolt. There's another question. This could be answered by Mariana or Zsolt, so whoever of you takes it. When will it be possible to create views in memoQ web? Right now, this is only possible on the local desktop version, if I'm not mistaken. This is the question.
Yes, you are not mistaken. That's right. We already had a couple of discovery sessions about views in memoQ web. So this is not forgotten. This is on the horizon. It's not very simple. We try to find out the very basics about views and find out what are the specific needs in terms of views. So I would encourage to get in touch either with Zsolt or with myself about this, because we are very, very curious about what is exactly needed in terms of views. So this is on the horizon, and we are already taking steps forward it.
Thank you, Mariana. I definitely can confirm that simplifying product in the way that it becomes easier to use and more efficient to use is is really important. Before we take any more questions, as I promised, after 2 questions, let's put the finishing touches on the webinar. So I will take over the word just a bit. I just want to say a few words about memoQ's ongoing stance about AI, because this is not new compared to what we said last year. So as you might remember, Gabor talked about memoQ AGT in detail. We were, in a way, quote unquote, late to adopt, to integrate large language models into memoQ, and the reason is that we didn't want to just integrate AI to tick a box to put a label on it. We integrated large language models in AI the moment we figured out how this produces real value for the customers, and as a result, we had memoQ AGT. So this is still the case, and that's why we developed memoQ AGT. This is why we acquired and integrated Globalese, but this is a kind of integration that is never finished, but we are. And my vision, our vision about including various automation solutions, including machine translation, including large language models in the suite of translation resources, is that now we have a full scale of potential automation solutions. Why is that important? It's because language pairs are not created equal. So you might have a translation project into 100 languages, and the AI resources, machine translation resources available for each target language can be different. The available, attainable quality for each language pair can be different. So you need to be within the same project. You need to be able to opt for using the traditional kind of full manual approach, using translation memories and term bases. And for another language pair, you could opt for neural machine translation with post editing. In another language pair, you can use AI boosted engines or memoQ AGT, because the large language model output is good enough for that. The point is, in a complex project, you need to have the option in the translation management system to choose any level of translation automation. And this is exactly what memoQ provides with the development of memoQ AGT and with the Globalese acquisition. And we have a few things on the horizon. In addition to what Gabor said, this is what is important, and someone in the questions pane also made this note, that being able to produce on-premises engines, being able to produce engines and models based on limited amount of data is paramount in certain situations. This is something that we are striving to do, and this is what we will provide more of in the coming months and years. Thank you very much. And I will hand over to Peter to wrap up and talk about what 2025 have in store. So Peter, take it away.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to briefly mention some things that are important to us rather than give you a picture of 2025. One of the things with this year is that it's been a very challenging year for people in this industry. I was at the ATA a couple of months ago at the American Translators Association conference, and many of the people that attended there were also doing other jobs outside translation because they just weren't making enough money. And this is, I think, true of translation companies, and I think it's generally true with many, that 2024 has been challenging. We, memoQ, we really recognize this, and we're very serious about the what we do should be something that really adds value to your work. Like, if it's not the case that you end up with more money in your pocket because you are using memoQ, then we have failed. And it's very important to us. One of the things that we've seen in the feedback to AGT is some of the feedback has been quite phenomenal in terms of what the value people have got from that. And what AGT does is combine human knowledge plus machine learning, and the human part of this is incredibly important. And I think this is the trend for 2025. I think the big AI companies have recognized that the importance of people. They're no longer talking about artificial general intelligence. They're talking about how their tools will augment people. Like that's what Anthropic with Claude is doing. That's what OpenAI is doing with ChatGPT 4.01. And we've had this picture since we started looking at this. I think it's also there's a question in the chat about the links between how difference between Globalese and AGT. And one of the things in common is that both sets of tools had at their core the idea that human knowledge is important, and that's the crucial thing in improving this. So what we are trying to do is to really add value, and we recognize people have had a hard year. We want to make sure that they really add value. There's a lot of things. Another thing to just mention is that we put a lot of focus within memoQ on domain knowledge. And what that means is we spend a lot of time, the people that have done most of the talking at this webinar talk an awful lot to customers. They ask them about what they're doing. What you're doing with our tools is really, really important. We appreciate, I've looked through the list of people attending, and many of you are people that have given us your time and have talked to us about what you're doing. And this is incredibly important to us because without that, we can't develop the future. One of the things that I do, which is kind of sad, is I see criticism of memoQ on various social medias where somebody says something nice about us. Like recently on LinkedIn, somebody was comparing cat tools and TMSs to cars, and they compared us to an Audi A5, which was the best car in the comparison list. And then somebody else said, no, memoQ is a broken bicycle. And when you look at the comment, when you try to figure out the comment, the reason for this is the translator who has to use the old memoQ web editor. And we've got that. And one of the big news of next year is that we've really focused on this. We've got probably the best web editor that will be in the space will be released with memoQ 11.4. Jolt has shown you that. Marianne has shown you some of the other things associated with this. This is an example of where memoQ comes from. When you criticize us, we hear you and we treat it seriously and try to do better. And I think that's our core strength. One thing that I've been asked to mention is that memoQ Fest this year is happening earlier on the 15th and 16th of May. There'll be a lot of interesting things. There'll be an announcement about this probably in the next 2 or 3 weeks. We hope to see many of you there. We also hope to see many of you at memoQ Days over the coming year. I'm going to pass this back to Balazs. I think there are some more questions that should be answered. So thank you very much, everybody. Have a great Christmas and New Year. And as I was saying, that what we want to do is to really add very great value to the work you do. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Peter. Yes, we still have a few questions, and I want to be able to take at least some of them. So let's just jump back into it. So next one is back to memoQ Web. The web app sounds brilliant. Will it work with all the browsers? We are using Safari and Brave a lot and have problems with other TMS online solutions. And I see Joel is volunteering to answer this.
Yeah, I just checked the documentation and I remembered correctly. So we support 3 browsers per Windows and Mac. And Safari is not officially supported, but it works for the most part. And we have been testing Safari with the in-country view tool and memoQ editor, and it has been working just fine. As far as the other Brave, no, we have not tested it, so I cannot really confirm that.
Thank you very much. Again, is the dark mode really a dark mode? An inverted color thing? Again, I think it's real, but I'm sure it also weren't it. And so,
yeah, I guess the question is about the memoQ editor and the in-country
Yep.
view tool. Yes, they are true dark modes, as the modern web technology allows us to create true dark mode fairly easily. As far as the desktop editor, I understand your concern. Let me just tell you this, that in the upcoming releases of 11.2, the next maintenance release, as well as in 11.3, we are going to have a tweaked, revamped, inverted color mode for the desktop editor, and hope you will like it, because we put a lot of work into that and taking into account all the feedback we have gotten from the first iteration.
Thank you, George. The next one is probably for Gabor, but feel free to pass it back to me if you want to. AGT and Globalese look similar. Can you please tell me a bit about the differences? Which one is for who?
Yeah, that's a good question, and it's absolutely a valid question, because there are indeed some similarities and important similarities. Both are using large language models. Both are creating dynamic prompts based on the available language resources. So this is the common part, but still there are some differences. I would say one of the most important differences is probably stated in the slide. So for AGT is easy to use, and you don't need to train it. So it can be used effortlessly, instantly from memoQ, from the memoQ ecosystem environment. That's the one of the big advantages compared to Globalese. On the other hand, Globalese can be used also outside the memoQ ecosystem. So it's basically can be used as a standalone product. It can be used via API, can be integrated as a MT provider, as a standalone MT provider. At the moment, there are also some of the differences in the tag handling, while I have to say, as I mentioned on the slides, that we are also working on adding this feature to AGT. So AGT will definitely be improved in that from that extent. And on the long run, our goal is to create a portfolio where basically we are merging the best of the two worlds. So that because originally AGT and Globalese were developed separately, now we are working also to have a unified solution which is combining the best of the both worlds.
Thank you very much, Gabor. We love Livedocs. Can we have it in the web, but with full potential? Marianna.
Yes, it depends on what you mean with full potential. Of course, we are also having some plans to extend functionalities in terms of Livedocs. We also love Livedocs, so we do want to extend those functionalities. So as next, being able to import files, that is still missing, of course. Next year, we really want to focus on that. But if you think about the editor interface, that's not really easy to implement. And also we have, besides that, so not just the Livedoc editor, but also the translation memory editor on our roadmap. So these two editors are both requested by many of you. These two are on the horizon and also on the roadmap. Let's say the TM editor is right away on the roadmap. So, well, next spring or let's say we plan to start on working on the TM editor in the middle of next year. And we'll see how we can go on with the Livedoc editor as well. But if you have any ideas and any thoughts, please send me a line. I would be really happy about that.
Thank you very much, Marianna. The next one is, I think I can take it. Can Globalese be on-prem? As far as I understand, AGT is only available online, right? That's part of the question. Yes, Globalese can be on-prem. And also, you know it correctly, if any processing in an AI boosted engine in Globalese or in memoQ AGT involves a large language model, the large language model is online. For now, don't tell anyone. We have some work going on to change this and be able to produce the full scale of translation automation solutions in a way that is boxed in, that it's the most secure that is possible. And there's also a question about pricing. This question is yes. I was going to suggest that. Thanks.
I think that I'm not exactly sure. The question doesn't give a lot of detail, but I would say there's a couple of things to say in terms of our pricing. memoQ's pricing is very transparent. We tell you exactly what it will cost. There have been issues. One of the things that's happened recently is some companies have switched to volume-based pricing, and it can be difficult. You can get blamed for being successful. What we're trying to do is to have it so that you get value from the tool, that it's worthwhile for you to be using memoQ to pay the price. And we're very conscious about that. We're very willing to have a dialogue with anybody who thinks they don't get value, and we want to figure out ways where they pay a certain price, but they get a value from this that's far more than that. And we believe we're transparent with pricing, and we're happy to talk to you about how to get value from it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Peter. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you for taking the time and joining us in this webinar today. I would like to thank our panelists, our speakers, for the insightful presentations, and I wish everyone happy holidays and a great end of the year and a very successful 2025. Thank you very much again, and let's keep in touch. Bye bye.